What's going on, everyone? My name's Lior and I'm with Comes Out of Boston, and in this video we're going to go over the top 5 cities and towns around the Boston area that are best for families. Let's get at it. Lior and I'm with Compass out of Boston, and in this video we're going to go over the top 5 cities and towns around Boston for families. Before we get into that, 2 quick things. Number 1, if you guys haven't already subscribed to my channel, give me a subscribe. I put out tons of new videos every single week about what it's like to live in different parts of Boston, different neighborhood overviews, different tips on buying, selling, investing. So if you haven't already subscribed, give me a subscribe below. And number 2, if you guys are even thinking about doing anything with real estate, whatever it is, buying, selling, investing, leasing, I get so many calls from you guys watching my videos. Give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, whatever it is, whatever the question is, I will help you out. So let's get into today's content, which is the top 5 cities for families around the Boston area. And we're going to start with number 5, which is Melrose. And if you don't know where Melrose is just north of the city. It's a really great location, super convenient to Boston. In terms of transportation, you've got the commuter rail line there, which you can hop on and go right into downtown if you work in the city. It's also it's also really close to the Orange Line of the Oak Grove stop, which is right on the border of Malden and Melrose. So all in all, really easy to get in and out into the city. If you're driving, it's only about 15 or 20 minutes anyway, depending on the traffic, of course. So all in all, really great location. In terms of things to do, it's a really great town, super, super cute, very New England feel. You've got parks, you got like Pine Banks Parks, you got the Fells, you got a pond there. So there's a lot of outdoor space for families to walk around, enjoy, plenty of parks. Really, really great overall feel to the town. And then, of course, the school system is really good there, too. Most ratings take it the school system about 7 out of 10. So really strong school system. So obviously, if you've got kids and you're looking for good schools, Melrose is a great school system to be in. In terms of prices, you're typically looking at about $500,000 as a starting point for single families. If you're looking at condos, you can obviously get them a little cheaper in the 3s and 4s. But yeah, that's typically the price range, and that's why it's number 5 on our list, because of the location, of the convenience, the parks, the ponds, the school system, and it's compared to most of Boston, it's pretty affordable. So that is number 5. Now let's go into number 4, which is Arlington. If you don't know where Arlington is, it's a little bit more west, really close to Somerville and Medford. Arlington is also a really, really cute. Arlington's more west, right by the Somerville-Medford line. And Arlington is also a really, really cute town, super family friendly. In terms of transportation, you don't have T-stops that go into there, but it's not too bad getting in and out of the city. From Arlington to the city, you're probably 20, 25 minutes away from downtown. You're obviously close to Somerville. You're close. So if you needed to go on the T for whatever reason, it's not too far away. So all in all, pretty convenient, pretty convenient from a location perspective. In terms of things to do, also kind of like Melrose has the parks. Parks like Robbins Farm Park are really nice. It's got a pond as well that you can walk around. Really, really kind of New England town feel. Great for families. It's got a nice, plenty of cafes and restaurants as well. In terms of the school system, that's obviously another one of the bigger draws for Arlington. If you look at the rankings, Arlington schools are ranked somewhere between 7 and 8 out of 10. So very, very strong school system. So, obviously a big, big draw if you've got kids that are, that you need to put into schools. In terms of prices around the area for single families, you're typically starting around the 600s or so. If you're going to condos, obviously, again, you can get them a little cheaper, maybe starting in the 400s. But again, it's a little bit pricier than Melrose. It's because it's considered to be a little bit more desirable. But great town overall, great school system. plenty of parks, ponds, things to do. So all in all, great town to be in. Number 3 on our list is Belmont. So if you don't know where Belmont is, Belmont's kind of close to Watertown and Cambridge. In terms of transportation and convenience, again, also you're looking about 20-25 minutes into downtown Boston. If you're going to be driving, Belmont does have a commuter rail stop, which is nice. So you can have some transportation if you needed that. In terms of things to do, kind of like the other 2 towns, you got plenty of parks. You actually have a couple of golf courses here too. You've got the Belmont Country Club. You got 2 other ones pretty close around the Watertown border. You're also right on the Cambridge line. You've got the Fresh Pond Reservation, which is really nice. A lot of people take walks and hikes there when it's nice weather. So really, really another great place to live in. Very, very strong school system. If you're going to be looking at the rankings, you'll see that most schools are ranked about 8 or 9. So very, very strong school system. So for really big draw for a lot of families. And because of that, obviously prices are going to be a little more expensive here. Your single families are typically starting around the 700s. Condos, you're starting in the 4s, but that's kind of for the smaller stuff. So pricier town, but again, you have a really strong school system. You've got the convenience of being right next to Cambridge and Watertown while still kind of having a little town feel. You've got the commuter rail stop. You've got golf courses. So all in all, great place for families to live, and that's why it's number 3. Number 2 on our list is Newton. So Newton is kind of also close to the Watertown, Waltham area. Newton in turn is west. Really, really great convenience and transportation though. You've got great access to the Pike, to 93. If you wanted to be downtown, depending where in Newton you are, you can be there as fast as 10 or 15 minutes. But getting on the highways, you have plenty of T-stops. The Green Line goes right through Newton with multiple stops. So, very, very easy to get in and out into the city if you need to, into surrounding towns. Plenty to do in Newton. Again, number of ponds, plenty of parks, lots of cafes and restaurants. So all in all, great city to live in. Obviously, one of the big draws of Newton, it's got very renowned schools, really, really famous school system across the country. If you look at rankings, you'll see about 8 or 9, depending on which website you look at. Amazing school system, which really it draws in, which is why so many people know Newton and want to live here. In terms of prices, there's a huge variance in prices here. Really dependent on neighborhood. You can certainly break into some neighborhoods starting in the 6s. Condos you can start in the 4s, but there's a huge variance in price. I mean, there are homes here that go well into the many millions. Just depends exactly where you are, how big the house is, and so on. So that's, because of the school system, because of the transportation, the location that's so convenient to Boston, it makes number 2 on our list. And finally, number 1 is Brookline. So Brookline's actually very close to Newton, but Brookline is also, it's kind of like a little suburban feel, but also kind of a little bit of city feel. Parts of it are close to Newton. There's also parts of it that are right on the border of Boston, where Fenway and Longwood are. So you get there's a little bit more of a variance in how the city and how that town feels. But really convenient overall. I mean, you can be in downtown very quickly from Brookline, depending on what part you are. If you're closer to the Fenway part, you can be in downtown within minutes. You've got plenty of transportation options. You've got the MBTA, the Green Line goes right through it. So super convenient. And that's why you also get a large variance of the type of people that live there, right? You've got a lot of families. You also have a lot of younger professionals as well. But for families, it's absolutely fantastic. There's tons to do, parks, places to walk around in, plenty of restaurants and cafes. And like Newton, very well-known school system. If you look at the rankings, you're probably looking about an 8 out of 10, but very famous school system overall that's very strong. In terms of prices, again, a little bit more, probably one of the pricier cities that on this list. Single families are starting in the 7s, but again, can go way up depending on exactly where you're at and how big the house is. Condos, you're typically looking at You can start in the 4s, but most of them are much more expensive as well. So, because of the convenience, because of the transportation, because you're kind of close to Boston as well, and the school system, it makes Brookline #1 on our list. So that's the top 5 cities for this list. Let me know if you guys have any questions, if you think I missed a town or city that should be on that list. And like I said, guys, before, I get so many calls, so many emails from you guys that watch my videos, ask me all about Boston, what's the best place to live in. If you have any of those questions, send me a call, send me a text, send me an email, whatever it is, and I will help you out.